All right, friends. So we have made it to Friday. We've made it to our final day. We have these beautiful Dr. Seuss style landscapes drawn, traced, cleaned up, extra details, all the good stuff in here. So now we get to finally color this thing. So you guys can use whatever you happen to have at home. I'm going to use markers because to me I think I could use markers to create a really vibrant, beautiful color scheme going on. So I drew a really simple version of the truffle trees just to kind of practice this project. And I want you guys to notice a few characteristics when it comes to color in a Dr. Seuss artwork. My truffle trees, the trunks, if you're going to look at any of the illustrations from the books, specifically the Lorax, the trunk ends up being kind of like a yellow-orange color. If you don't have these colors in marker form, I'm going to recommend you guys color this with whatever you have the most of. So if you're at home and you're like, okay, I got a ton of crayons and I know I'm going to have kind of a yellow-orange in there, that's what I'm going to recommend to you guys. Use those crayons. If you have a ton of colors and markers, which I know some of you guys do, that's what I'm going to recommend to you guys. So remember, try to make it accurate. If you need to, go back and look at pictures of the Lorax and of other Dr. Seuss drawings to guide you folks. All right, so in this case, I'm going to go through and I'm going to make sure my truffle trees, all the trunks are colored in. Be kind of careful if you ended up coloring or tracing over some of your areas here with something other than a Sharpie and you're coloring with marker, you want to make sure maybe we avoid some of the black parts because you might get a little bit of a smear. So maybe lift up your marker and color around if you can. We want to try to avoid the smear. Avoid the smear. All right, this is looking great. Again, these truffle trees are not going to have very realistic colors that we're going to see in an everyday tree. We're going to find strange colors, pinks and purples and blues. So totally up to you. I love just starting with any old color and let's see how it looks. I'm going to start with this vibrant blue. And if you want to just stick with a few colors, that's fine. If you want to go crazy, you guys go right ahead. I can't wait to see what you do. So my recommendation, folks, is use whatever you have regarding coloring. So color pencils, markers, just make sure you have these colors that are important. If you're one of my kiddos, it's like, oh, I have orange and I have yellow. You can layer the two, especially if you're using colored pencils to create this trunk color. Let's see, I'm going to start with another one over here. And reminder, you guys, if you're drawing something and you want something to be white, for example, my fluffy clouds here, I'm going to make sure I color my background blue, like a sky blue, and I'm going to leave the clouds alone. I'm going to leave them white so they look realistic. And quite frankly, I don't have a white marker, so we're going to use the whiteness of the paper. For each of my sections of land, here's my other suggestion. My example that I did before, I chose a couple different kinds of green, all right? So for my foreground, I did a dark green, a middle ground, I did a kind of like a basic green. And then as I get further away to my background, I chose a lighter green. You don't have to do that, but it does end up looking rather cool. So that's what I'm gonna end up doing with this one. I'm gonna go with my darker green for the front. And this piece of paper, folks, is going to really be very colorful when it's all said and done. So make sure we don't leave a ton of details without color. You want to go back, take a look, and see what colors the Lorax is and the story. Try again to keep it very accurate. Try to make it creative, too. And I cannot wait to see how these turn out when you guys are done. I'm going to keep working on mine, but you guys, please finish these up. Post them on Seesaw. And remember, we're going to try to have an art show in May. So when you do take a picture of your artwork, take a really good head-on picture as best you can. It's okay if it's not perfect, but if you give me a pretty decent picture, I should be able to prepare it and make it look really good for the art show if we need to. All right, guys. I can't wait to see these done. Post them to Seesaw, and adios.